It is clear that Trump admires dictators and has even had praise for Adolf Hitler. No other U.S. president has praised Adolf, of course. An article in the Times of Israel published yesterday, March 12th, 2024, summarizes some of those comments made by Trump. The title of the article, which is available online, is, quote, Trump admires Hitler, is infatuated with Putin, end quote. Trump's praise for dictators has been so commonplace and frequent that Republican voters can no longer claim that they are unaware of that praise. If a Trump voter claims to be unaware, then that is just not a credible claim and should not be believed by anyone. Over 90% of the self-identified Republicans plan to vote for Trump in November, according to the polls, and there is nothing surprising in that number. These people are hardcore Trump supporters. To please his followers, Trump recently said on Truth Social that he would pardon all of his supporters who were convicted of crimes for their actions during the January 6th insurrection. He refers to those convicted criminals as hostages, and he has done that frequently now for several weeks, even months. Trump met with the Hungary Prime Minister Viktor Orban last Friday at Mar-a-Lago. Orban is possibly the first head of state that Trump has met since leaving office. Hungary has a population roughly equal to North Carolina. Except for Hungary's veto in the European Union and NATO, Hungary is just irrelevant on the world stage, other than for the conservative, and I'll put that in quote conservative, end quote, infatuation with his authoritarian style of governing. If there was a way to kick Hungary out of the EU and NATO, it needs to be done. I do not recall offhand another leader willing to meet with Trump after he left office. I guess Putin could not attend a meeting or lunch with Donald at Mar-a-Lago, since there is a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for his arrest for, quote, allegedly committing war crimes in Ukraine. Orban has for years been conducting an all-out assault on Hungary's legal and judicial institutions, a free media, and academia. These attacks are meant to undermine the institutions necessary for a properly functioning democracy. Most of the media outlets are now under his control and fulfill the same purpose as the propaganda organs controlled by Putin and Russia. Orban's party that controls the legislature also recently passed a law similar to Russia's, quote, foreign agent law that has broad language allowing for critics of Putin's government to be imprisoned for crimes. The legislation in Hungary is called the, quote, Sovereignty Protection Act, end quote. Orban has stated in the past that he wants to abandon liberal democracy in favor of what he calls the illiberal state. That's in quotes, illiberal state, citing Russia, China, and Turkey as his models. Trump made this comment about Orban. Quote, there's nobody that's better, smarter, or a better leader than Viktor Orban. He's fantastic, end quote. Trump claimed that Orban was a, quote, non-controversial figure, end quote, which is true only in the Orwellian world that Trump has created for tens of millions who are now permanent residents of that world. Trump admires Orban's authoritarian manner of leadership. He likes the way Orban says, and this is Trump putting words into Orban's mouth, quote, this is the way it's going to be, and that's the end of it, right? He's the boss, end quote. That is not a description of a democracy. Trump is describing favorably the kind of autocratic system in Putin's Russia, where he gives an order or makes a decision and everyone in the nation falls in line or else something bad happens to them. Anne Applebaum, the conservative intellectual who has written extensively about dictators and authoritarian movements that are now gaining a lot of traction in Western democracies, including the United States, correctly noted that Ukrainian policies of Trump and Orban are to let Russia win. Orban says Trump will end the Ukraine war as president by refusing to give a penny to Ukraine. Trump has already managed to end U.S. aid to Ukraine earlier this year, and he doesn't even hold an office. He just tells the Republicans and the Congress to not to approve a Ukrainian aid bill, and then that is the way it is. I would characterize both Trump and Orban as being pro-Putin.